Forgiveness is a three-part process and a two-way street. Good day, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Monday Morning Moments with Mark. I hope this finds you well. As you saw in the open, we're going to talk a little bit about forgiveness this week, which I think is something all of us could use a deeper understanding of and find ways to express more of it in the world. I would like to point out this is episode 26. That means we are halfway through season 1, also known as the first year of this. I promised myself I would do 52 episodes, one every Monday for the whole year, and we are halfway there. So for those of you who are looking forward to the holidays, well, we're halfway there. Anyways, before we get into learning a little bit more about forgiveness this week, we always have to have the funniest thing. And the funniest thing this week comes courtesy of my interaction with a bartender at a place I had never been to before. I was looking at their specialty menu and didn't really see anything that piqued my interest. So she goes, well, what can I get you? And I made this sound like, She goes, are you downloading the answer? I said, no, that's my thinking sound, but if you think that's what downloading something sounds like, you must be as old as me. She goes, I am. I said, so that was a pretty funny interaction. If you're one of my younger viewers and you don't understand why that sounds like downloading something, go ask your parents about dial-up internet. So moving on to talk about forgiveness. So I forgive for myself, and please forgive me if I made any of you feel old with that download sound joke. But anyways, so forgiveness. First of all, I need everybody to understand that forgiveness is for your benefit as the forgiver, because you don't necessarily have any control over how the recipient of your forgiveness is going to deal with it. And I'll explain all of that more in a minute. However, having said that, it is a reciprocal, or can and should be a reciprocal process. Forgiveness is a three-part process and a two-way street. So let me explain that a little bit. First of all, when we're talking about forgiveness, and the reason I said that you're not necessarily in charge of them, you want it to be a two-way street. You want the impact to be felt both ways. But sometimes, you forgive somebody and they don't change, and it just is what it is. Basically, if they were affected by your hurtfulness and subsequently by your forgiveness, then that allows them to move and grow forward. Your forgiveness can allow that person to let go of that feeling and understand and grow and move forward, like I said. There's three parts to forgiveness. The first part is decisional forgiveness. I did not make that up. That comes from Everett Worthington in the article here. I don't have it handy, but anyways, we talk about two kinds of forgiveness, decisional and emotional, and we'll get to the emotional one in a minute. But decisional forgiveness is basically forgiving the act. I forgive what you did. You for whatever reason, you can forgive them for the act. It was understanding. It was a behavior, not necessarily a characteristic. And that's the first part that allows you a little bit of breathing room. It allows you to come together. For the second part of forgiveness, which is reconciliation. There's actually two parts within reconciliation, but for lack of a better way to explain it, we'll just call it reconciliation. The first part is acceptance, which is you accept where they are. You meet them where they were, the person that you're forgiving. Okay, I understand who you are, why you did what you did. Or not necessarily why, but I understand that that's where you are in life, and I accept you for who and what you are, and that I'm happy to try and help you grow and be better from that. The second part is the little bit deeper part is understanding. So reconciliation has acceptance, accepting them for who they are, being open to that, and then trying to reach understanding why they were where they were behaviorally. So it's super important because they may not even know that their behavior was hurtful. That's normal to them. They've just been acting that way, and they don't know that it hurts someone. So until someone has that conversation with them and expresses that and comes to that understanding, they may not even know. The other part is they may recognize that it was a hurtful behavior, but they don't really fully understand the mechanism of it because no one's ever sat down and explained it to them. No one's ever given their perspective of why it's hurtful. So they're missing, the person you're trying to forgive is also missing the why. And it's, part of forgiving is providing that to them. Coming to that level of understanding is what frees you from the negative feelings. Even if they don't change, they keep going on living their life, and they're like, hey, I'm going to be me and do what I want to do, and if it hurts you, then I don't care. Then that's fine, but what frees you from the negative emotions and the hurtfulness of it is because you self-advocated for your values. And that, to me, is probably the most important part of all kinds of forgiveness. The reason I said in the beginning is that forgiveness is primarily about for yourself is because when you forgive someone and you self-advocate for why it was hurtful to you, you've done everything that you can. You can hope and wish and pray that they grow and get better, but you're not in control of that. So that's why I said it's a two-way street. You want it to be where they recognize, ideally, a person would recognize, oh, I've hurt you. Thank you for explaining to me why. Let me change my behavior so that I'm not hurtful towards you anymore. But not everybody's like that. Some people are jerks. So that understanding and freedom of the negative feelings is what allows you to move towards emotional forgiveness. Emotional forgiveness is basically forgiving the person for the way they made you feel. So decisional is, I'm forgiving you for what you did because you didn't know any better. Now we move towards emotional forgiveness, where you understand how and why it made me feel that way, and I am moving on as a person. I've forgiven you for what you did to me, and now I have emotionally let go of that. So that's that part of emotional forgiveness. Emotional forgiveness is really the byproduct of coming to that understanding. So those are the parts of forgiveness: is the decisional forgiveness, and then coming to some sort of reconciliation, whether it be mutual or not. Hopefully it's a two-way street, and then emotionally forgiving the person and allowing yourself to be emotionally forgiven. So putting all of that in context, the toughest part is when there is no other person involved and it's just you that you have to have that conversation with, and you have to forgive yourself for the action. You have to reconcile with yourself, and you have to emotionally forgive yourself, and all of that happens internally. That's way tougher sometimes than trying to forgive somebody else. But we're all a work in progress. So take some time this week. Reflect on some people that you might want to reach out to and give some forgiveness to. Look inside yourself and see if you've done something that you need to forgive yourself for, because that is absolutely essential in growing and getting better. And that's what we're here for. Have a great week.